96 to 327.
All rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Mr. Stewart's here to talk about ordinances for septic systems within the R2 zone.
Yes. You mind if I come up?
Come on up.
Thank you, everyone. Good evening.
Hello. Evening.
I'm
We'll try to make this as short as possible. I do have some documentation that I'm not going to read through. I'm hoping that folks will take a look at it when we have time. Essentially, there are a number of towns in New Hampshire that have instituted septic system ordinances around their lakefront zones to help potentially address cyanobacteria concerns. So just addressing or making sure that septic systems are clean is not the magic bullet, right? But it is a potential help in the direction of keeping blooms at bay. And so these are, here you go, and I should have.
It's okay.
All right. Okay, great.
Thank
So, don't even, you can look at this stuff now, but what I'm hoping is that, couple things. That one, you can take some time and take a look at this documentation and at some point make a determination whether you think it might be worthwhile for the select board to put forth such an ordinance. But I want to talk about just a couple of things. One is just high level. Generally, what these ordinances do is they require that septic systems be maintained on a regular basis. So depending upon the town, they may require it to be pumped, say, once every 3 years. I think sometimes maybe a little bit more than that. There's also a requirement that if the septic system is older than a certain age and is not, I think it may be registered at the registry of deeds, that the system be inspected to determine whether it's operational. If it's operational, fantastic, then it's then part of just whatever regular maintenance cadence would take place. If it's not operational, there's a problem, then it needs to be fixed. And then the town would be notified, and then it would need to be fixed in some, in some amount of time. That would be, some of these have timelines for those such things. I do understand I came before the board probably a year and a half ago, and when Ken Fifield was on. And so I wanted to come back, and you might see me back here again if you decide that maybe this isn't the time. So just, but one of the things that came out of that discussion was that there could be an administrative challenge with putting something like this in, right? So great, like you can require, potentially, right, require these different properties to have maintenance done on a regular basis, but you got to keep track of that, right? And what happens if somebody doesn't, have their septic pumped, and how do you keep track of that, and how do you reach out to them? And that could be an administrative burden, right? That doesn't cost nothing. So one of the things that I had done, I'm on the board of AWA, and they have like a database for some of their tracking of some of the lake surveys that they've done. And at a really high level, AWA has some expertise that if the town decided this is something they wanted to look into, AWA could help put together a relatively simple electronic database where folks could either the property owner or even the septic system company could electronically submit evidence that, say, this system has been pumped, this date, this year. There could be, part of the functionality within that application to help kind of identify when a property hasn't, pumped their septic within so many years, and, provide the ability to send either an email or print out a letter that could be sent out. So would there still be some level of administrative burden? Absolutely. But could it be made easier and more efficient? Yes, there would be a process that you could do to do that. And again, if you are willing to consider, putting in such an ordinance, I would be more than happy to work with the town to put something together that would work out.
What's the percentage rate that the septic systems is the cause of bacteria, cyanobacteria?
So it's hard to say that septic systems are the cause, right?
Okay.
They can contribute to it, and there's different studies, right? You can go on the internet and listen, you know this, you can find anything you want. If you want to find something to support your argument, you can find that. I have seen some studies and there's some mention of that in some of this documentation from some neighboring states like New York, Massachusetts, where there were some studies done in a couple of towns that showed that some septic systems in a certain area, there were 25 to 45% that had not been maintained in a somewhat long period of time that in theory could be contributing to more phosphorus into like the lake that these properties were on. So, like I said earlier, if Wakefield was able to ensure that every single septic system in town was fully maintained and up to snuff and either new or pumped out within the next 3 years, does that mean that there's not going to be any more cyano blooms? Absolutely not, right? But it's one of the contributors to phosphorus. Cyanobacteria is a naturally occurring element. It's there, right? It's when the levels get to a certain level that you have these blooms, you see the algae, you see the green, and that's where the health risk for people and pets and all that come into play. So you're not going to get rid of it, you can't. But what you're trying to do is keep the levels down so that the blooms either don't happen or are much less frequent. So it is something that other towns have done, and it is one of the things that a town can do to help.
Do you know what the recommended maintenance by state officials, engineering, says that systems should be maintained?
No, so I don't.
Okay,
So
I'm going to tell you what they are.
Okay.
They're a 4-year system.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
They've moved from 4 years to 4 to 6.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
And when you say you want to pump them out 1 to 3 or 1, 2 or 3 or whatever that may be,
Yep.
What that does is it causes more issues than what you're
Okay.
trying to solve.
Okay.
Because you're not allowing the effluent that is in those tanks to become bacteria
Yeah, sure.
and work its
Yep.
way,
Okay.
as you see on
Sure.
those commercials, how they
Sure.
eat
Sure.
the
Yep.
bacteria
Yep.
away.
Yep.
This is why I would never recommend Riddick or any of them kinds of things that goes in there, because they're made for quick fixes,
Okay.
but they're not made to solve
Okay.
what
Sure.
an effluent
Sure.
system is supposed to
Yep.
be. So I would disagree with you, and I understand what you're trying to do.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
okay with trying to
Yeah,
help.
sure.
But I would disagree with you that these systems need to be pumped every year, every 2 years, every 3 years.
Okay.
I personally wouldn't pump them for several years.
Okay.
Because I don't install them, but I've done enough of them in my life to know that they work better as they get older.
Okay.
Now, when they fail, of
Yeah,
course,
sure.
the failure is usually due to man-made issues, such as someone driving up on top of something, crushing something, moving something. The system shifts.
Okay.
Something of that nature.
Sure.
And how they fail is something gets plugged, effluent comes, instead of leaching into the field,
Yeah.
leaches out of the field.
Sure.
Right?
Yep.
So, if your field is not showing anything of any of failure,
Mm-hmm.
and you want somebody to pay to have somebody come to inspect. What happens when these people can't pay, so say? I mean, let's just, you know, is
So-
that gonna be a town burden where we are gonna have to take over and say, okay, we're gonna have to do it? I mean, how do you enforce somebody to do something like that?
That's not what other towns have done.
Okay.
Other towns have, if I interpret, you know, their ordinances, if you have a system that's failing and it is, you know, within this zone and it's potentially leaching into a lake, it needs to be fixed.
Yeah, and it's automatic, that if they get a failed system, they have 30 days to comply
Yeah,
without
some amount of
permitting.
time, right.
Without
Sure.
permitting, it's
Yep.
something that you
Yep.
can do
Okay.
without anybody
Yeah.
telling you need an engineer.
Okay.
These
Sure.
are the things that you can do.
Yep, okay.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I guess my thing is that these systems are so engineered now that I can't imagine that they're causing this issue. So you got the old systems, right?
Yep.
And that's what we're working on, and I'm gonna, I'll use I'm not gonna use a particular lake as a subject, but we have lakes around here that have old camps, and they have their
Yep.
own
Right.
PVs that are all over the place,
Yep.
right? I understand that aspect if someone's sitting here, lake is here, and the PV's here, and their water's running down here and going into the lake. I get that.
Yep.
I guess I have a hard time, and I've told you this before, I have a hard time believing that the engineered systems that are generally out there, and the ones that weren't engineered, basically, in today's life, they were always the best engineered systems back then when they were stone and pipe. Now, I stand behind a stone and pipe before I see any of these infiltrators
Sure.
and mattresses and
Yep.
things that they use,
Yep.
all these new
Yep.
things today. The stone and pipe works the best. So I guess my point is, and I'm not speaking for anybody, I'm speaking for me, and you know I've said this many times.
We've talked about this.
I have an issue with enforcing somebody to do something that I almost think is not as necessary as we may think. Do I think it's a great idea to have some kind of outlook? Because what you're trying to do, you're not trying to enforce somebody to do something against their will. You're just, you're looking out for the lake, right? Because it's the
Right.
lake that we
Right.
have the issue with.
Yep.
So I gotta say as myself, I just have a problem enforcing something. I wish there was some other way that we could determine that, but every new home and everything that an update or anything like that has to go through engineering and state approvals.
Absolutely.
So
Yep.
they're pretty much onto that. We're just trying to, and I'm assuming what you're trying to do is just get to the backlogged ones, the ones that haven't had anything done for years and years and years
Yeah,
and
and
years.
there's
And some of
likely-
these don't even have tanks.
Correct.
I
And they
get
have
it.
a
I've dug up many of them. I
55-gallon
just dug up
drum,
one the other day that
Right.
they thought they had a field, they never even had a field.
Right,
You know,
right.
but again, that system has worked for 50 years efficiently. It's never had a backup, it's
Sure,
never leaked
sure,
out.
yep.
So I can go both directions,
Yep,
by all
yep,
means.
yep.
So,
So, I mean, kind of to your point too is, and we've talked, you guys have all heard this, right? The lakes in this town are the lifeblood of this town, right? The more that the town can do to protect those lakes, the more the town is gonna do to protect the tax base. If there are major cyano blooms that are happening in lakes across this town, and we've seen, depending upon the year, sometimes more than others, that is not good for the value of the property on those lakes. If there are some very negative aspects of cyanobacteria on a number of lakes in town, that is not good for the tax base. So,
but again, you're right, but I've got to have the documentation that tells me that the systems is causing that.
So
I don't see that.
It's a contribution to it, like, same as like runoff from a paved road
Yeah,
or from a
absolutely.
graded road,
Absolutely.
right? Like, all of that, they all contribute.
Yeah.
This is part of that contribution. So like I said, like, if you were able to make sure that every single septic system was up to snuff, it's not necessarily going to be the magic
But every
bullet,
little
but it's
bit
gonna be,
helps.
but it's gonna be part of it,
No, I
right?
hear you.
That's really what it is. And, you know, to your point around the recommendation for maintenance, like, if that's what the right, you know, timeline is, like, and if you were to implement an ordinance, then make it a longer timeline.
Well, I don't necessarily that's not what I would do. I mean, I'm just trying to tell you that 1 to 3 years, because those are the numbers you just said to me.
Yeah, so that's.
To me,
yeah.
you're taking away what the system is trying to do
Yeah.
because it hasn't had time to
Sure,
do it.
sure, and I understand that.
So
Yeah,
all I'm saying is
yeah.
if we're gonna do something and we do something, we wanna do it to at least what engineers have designed
Sure.
this system for,
Sure.
and they've
Yeah.
designed these things for 4 to 6 these days.
Right, right.
And some, you know, and I'll go back to the old school, because my family, we've been installing these for 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
I don't recommend to ever do it, to pump these. I leave them alone unless you have an issue.
Okay.
Most of these, like I said, the bacteria that are in these are doing the job that they're supposed to
Sure,
do.
sure.
But when you do get a failure, and you do, I
Yeah.
had one at my own other house that had failed.
Yeah.
And you could come out and we solved it and we fixed it, but I'm not gonna say they don't fail.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say that, you know, it's hard to make somebody like us schedule maintenance to enforce that. That's the hard part.
Well-
How do you enforce that? You know, how do I say, all right, it's now, and then you got how many houses on them lakes?
Oh,
Your
it's
lake
a
alone
lot.
probably got 1,000, you know.
400.
400 houses
Yeah.
on that lake? So, all right, so 400 houses on
Yeah.
that lake, you'd have to keep a thing, and we have 11 lakes in this town.
Yeah, so
That'd
yes,
be tough.
so yes, there is an administrative piece to this, absolutely, without question, right?
But it's good for debate.
Yeah,
It's good for, I understand your thought process.
So, you know, in some other things, just, you know, within this literature and some things that other towns have done is, they do have like, I don't know if it's considered hardship waiver, but waivers if folks have you know, a place on a lake and they say, hey, look, I come up there just in the summer times. It's, you know, my wife and I and my 2 kids, it's a 4-bedroom septic. We're not using it year round. Do we really need to have it maintained as much as what your town requirement is? And
That was one of the comments I was
Yeah.
gonna make. Some of these older camps, they only
Yep.
get used in the summertime.
Right,
They sit all
right.
winter time, and
Yeah, and so there
if
are.
anything, you ought to attack the VRBOs, because those are the ones that are probably the biggest
So-
offenders, because they rent to tons of people,
Yep.
and they're over there
Yep.
overtasking the septic systems, and
So there are some towns that address that differently, that if you're registered as a short-term rental, you will pump that out once a year. And then, you know, other residential properties would be pumped out at a different rate. Like, some of them have once every 3 years. So there's ways to address that, right?
Did you said that you have these other towns, just for example, like,
Yeah.
what are some of the other towns?
So Northwood,
London.
New London, I think in one of these it calls out some other towns that have done this.
But nothing about anything with our sistering towns,
Let's see.
you know, that amongst us in our. own ways.
Chesterfield, Daring, Meredith, Rye, Sunapee, Wyndham.
Yeah, see, and
So-
just to be devil's advocate.
Yep.
Those are the towns that, to me, are no comparison to us whatsoever.
Sunapee is.
I mean,
But I'm just saying, they're towns that are out of our realm.
so I'll disagree with you on that. Like, they have lakes in their towns, and they want to protect the water quality of the lakes. So.
Well, I'm not saying that we don't want to protect the water.
So with all due respect, so please, right,
Yeah,
like, don't
okay.
take this the wrong way. this is a way to help do that. And so what I would like, I guess what I would ask, right, is if you would, again, take a look at this, think about, having potentially a more efficient way to administer such an ordinance. And if you are interested in talking about that more, reach out to me and let me know. And I can maybe bring Awa in, or we can, in some way, talk to some of the folks in the land use office and see how that might work. And we could, try to, design something that would be useful. The other thing is, I'll be honest, I think there's a decent chance at some point in time, the state's gonna require us to do this anyways. So regardless if it's at the town level, the state has started to institute some changes around septic systems. So now if there's a property that changes hands, is sold, and I don't think it's within the family, but there's a requirement that the system be, I think, tested and be easily passed,
they've
right?
actually
Yeah.
changed the rule on that
Right.
now.
Right.
Used to be
That's what real
just
estate-
just a site assessment,
Yeah.
now it's an
Real estate,
inspection.
because
Do you think
I-
that's a step in the right direction,
Oh,
them
it
doing
definitely
that?
is, right?
Yeah,
And so I don't think, and I'm with you, a system that was designed properly, regardless if it's 50 years old or if it's 3 years old, is likely not causing a problem. It's likely the ones, probably the old camps that have a 55-gallon drum that's in the ground.
The
And that
drum is
has,
not even really there anymore.
right, and it's collapsed and what have you, right? That it's likely those that are more likely to be issues. And a couple of those can have some, dramatic negative impacts. So,
That's the biggest burden, I think, is to try to identify and find all those. I mean, there's
well,
probably
so.
quite
so-
a few of them.
Right, but so what these ordinances require is, if you don't have a septic system that's essentially a designed plan that was probably built before, or, built after some date, right? You need to have it inspected, and you need to prove to the town that it's working. So.
That's what one of the towns here
percentage of
does.
these
Yeah.
people don't even know where their system is, because I just did one, and
Then-
they had no idea. They just said, I think it's out there, and I
Yeah.
found it.
Yeah.
But it was nothing, and it was just fine, but, that's why I would be devil's advocate a little bit, because I don't believe in a lot of that, all of that, but I understand
Yeah.
the thought process.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
okay with reading and
Yeah.
and trying to make things better.
Sure.
And discussing it. That's
Sure.
the beauty of debate. And
Yep.
Yeah, because we're not talking about just around the lake either. You're thinking
Well,
He's
all.
talking
No, no, no.
about
So
Just around the
R-
lakes.
R2 and.
Oh, okay.
And so that's something you need to consider. R2 goes back 250 feet. There are properties that are within R2 that probably have a septic system within R2 that might be on the other side of a road, right? And so, the town could define what that means, right? Like, lake, property that is lake, that's shorefront, right? There's a lot of lakefront property in town. This is not one
Yeah,
lake that
some
you'd be
has to
looking at.
Very well
right?
thought out, because
Right,
there's so many.
absolutely,
you know.
right. But there's other towns that are doing this and are potentially helping, hopefully, a lot with the quality of their lakes. And so this is,
Be interesting.
again,
The
just,
whole code, like in this way, I always bring up the rentals and stuff like that, because some of these rentals are humongous. And, when the whole COVID thing, all these people from down in Massachusetts came up here and bought up all this lakefront property. That's why our lakefront property is so high now, is because they're paying ridiculous prices for them. And, they turn them into year-round homes, and then they rent them out in the summertime because they go down south or whatever. I mean, it's crazy. I've seen on our lake, the houses going up there, which is good because they're replacing the septic,
Right.
but there's still a lot of, impact on the lake.
yeah,
But again, these systems are designed to be used. And their the average system is 280 gallons a day. Well, I mean, every household, try using 280 gallons of water a day. It's just hard.
I have 2 daughters.
I was just gonna say, if you have girls,
So sorry, that's a joke. I know what you mean, right? No, no, I
280
agree,
gallons
I
is a
agree.
lot of water.
I agree,
I mean,
yes.
you'd have to be, you gotta think of it the way I think of it. Your faucets only pump of 1.3
No,
gallons.
I know, no, so you're right.
So
You're
it
right.
takes a lot.
Yes, it does,
So
it
these
does.
systems are definitely overdone, but we're not talking about new systems, we're talking about
Yeah.
basically
Yeah.
old systems,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah,
understand.
and listen, like, I understand that this is not necessarily like easy to consider. There are implications, there are people that would be impacted by this, right? I get it. But there's also like.
But how do you
I-
solve anything without impact?
Right, but I also think, it's an argument, like, is that impact worth it? Because it could be. Because if this is something that is gonna help keep the lakes healthy, help keep the tax base up, that's a benefit to the entire town.
Yeah, I think,
Right?
I think I asked you this the last time you were here too. It's like, if the system's not in failure,
Yep.
like Charlie says, how do we even know it's impacting the lake, you know? If it's not in failure,
Yep.
there's no evidence of a failure going
Sure.
on, you know?
Yep.
The system could be working just fine.
Oh, so again, some of the towns, part of what they're instituting is saying like, okay, we're gonna start this ordinance is now starting within the next, I don't know, some amount of time. If your system isn't on file, you're going to have it inspected by a licensed inspector, and you're gonna come back to the town and say, I've had it inspected and it's working properly. So we would know, the town would know across all the, the properties on the lakes, which systems are working properly or not, regardless of whether it's a 60-plus-year-old system or not. Like, that could be fine.
That's where I want to stop you. That was a good segue to my next two
Okay.
questions. I just want you to be aware of that. That's a heavy lift to build up a database like that. To, like Mark said, how do we know which ones are older, which ones are newer? We would have to identify those and
Yeah.
then send out a mailer, etc. But my other thing I want you to be aware of is what happens, because I always like to look at the end result.
Sure.
What happens if you've got some people that just say, I'm not doing it. My system's fine, and I'm not going to inspect it.
So you've got, some of these towns are instituting fines. They'll comply. Listen.
So
listen, like-
this is what this is about.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
don't
No,
worry
no,
about
no,
it.
no.
We're
Yeah,
listening to you.
yeah.
But this is where I say, if you want to institute an ordinance, then I want you to remove 3. Okay, because I don't have a problem instituting ordinances. No, but it just, to me, it becomes,
I take the
wait a minute, it becomes every time, we're just adding rules and rules and rules. When do we start taking some away that are nonsense? You know what I'm saying? So I don't have a problem instituting a
Yeah,
rule. I just like to release
you and I,
some
we
rules.
have this conversation a lot, right? Yeah, I mean, and you know this, like, there are things that we typically do, that we review with the code enforcement, that we make it easier, better to understand, less restrictive, like, we do that, right? Like, listen, I get that.
But
Right?
we might talk about something like it, but we never, ever, and I
So-
have been here for 20 years in this, and we haven't taken nothing away.
We've done quite a bit.
We've taken
We've-
some away?
We have
Don't you bullshit me.
we have lesson requirements on things, right? So like the size of a house, we've lessened that way down. Like, we have made things easier, less restrictive. Now, there's still a rule that says, hey, your house has to be 800 square feet? Yes, it used to be 1,200, right? Like, so I'm gonna respectfully disagree that we have made things easier. We've made things easier to understand and to comprehend, so that people don't necessarily have to come in. There's things around.
I just
yeah.
want you to know that when you implicate new rules,
Oh.
you should always try to reduce rules. Because before you know it, the book's gonna be so big, we can't even read it, okay?
I understand your point. I
That's
do get it. And I do understand that this has a level of being controversial. I get that, I do.
But it's definitely a thought that is a good
Yeah.
thought.
The-
It's not a bad
So
thought.
the other just thought, and I'll leave you with this, because I know you have other things on your plate tonight. Would there be value to put a straw poll out to the voters of town to ask the town whether they would be interested in a health ordinance around septic systems in the R2 zone, right? And so then because, listen, as I struggle as on the planning board when we're trying to do things and our approach is like, we then put it for the voters, right? Like, and I get it that if a board generally, approves something and it shows that on the warrant, like, yeah, a lot of voters are gonna lean that way. However, like, I don't know, it might be interesting to see, again, in a straw poll, like, what people would think. Maybe they say, no, I don't want you to have any handle in that, and please
Doug,
stay away from that.
Is that why it's come back to this board, is because it's a
Uh,
health
Yeah.
officer issue?
Yeah, so it's.
It's
so
nothing you guys can
So
do,
I've
right?
asked, like,
Yeah.
I've looked into it, and
Okay.
no, this is a health issue, which,
Okay.
this is, the select board controls that,
Gotcha,
so,
yeah.
all right. Well,
It's
unless you
worth the
have.
discussion.
Yeah,
And
unless you have.
Thank you for that.
Yeah,
Because
no,
I don't have
appreciate
an
it.
issue with that.
Yeah,
I'm just me, and there's things that I don't mind, and I have all the intentions of trying to make sure these lakes stay safe. I don't have a problem with that.
Yep.
And if this could show me that this had a very big part in this, and not just a microscopic
Sure.
part,
Yep.
then I have a much better opinion with you.
Yep. Okay.
But, I don't wanna cause the havoc, on something that I feel that, I mean, I guess when you own a house on the lake, it's usually, lots of times, it's a second home, but, I still don't wanna burden the people with any more than they need to.
Yep,
I always-
yep, no,
but
I get that.
Worth the discussion,
Yep, okay.
absolutely.
all
Do
right.
we know if there's, these kind of look fairly new to the.
They are.
Right, so we
Yeah.
don't know if there's been any studies to say, okay, well, we implemented this a year ago. This past summer, fall, whatever, we didn't see as many blooms as we had,
So
is
I-
there
I
any
have
type of
seen
study like that?
Some studies in other states around that, so I'll tell you what I can do, I'll do my best to try to do some research that's actually,
Well, that'd be.
Yeah, just
it's
curious.
It
So
wouldn't be
if
us
I
that
could-
you need, it'd be when you present this to the people, because they'd have to vote to make this ordinance.
Yeah.
They would want to know that
Well,
statistic. You know
so,
what I'm saying?
there's, okay, but there's no vote that has to happen.
We don't have to
like,
make this ordinance, we.
Tomorrow, you could decide, as a select board, you could say, we're putting
Yeah,
this
'cause
ordinance
it would
in.
be our ordinance, but I like I don't mind the idea of the straw poll.
Yeah.
That would be something we would put on the ballot to say,
Okay.
So
our-
to get opinion, right?
Would you,
It's an
as the
opinion.
board, put it on, or would
Pretty
you
sure.
ask Doug to do
No,
a
we-
petitioned article?
Oh, so that's interesting.
I think because would be our ordinance or regulation, it seems like it would come from the
Yeah,
board.
whatever the board wishes, just something to think about.
I think we need to do a little more research.
I
so-
think we'd have to look into
Yeah.
that,
Okay.
to see who
Yeah.
would put that
I think it's a
forward.
little late in the season for us to be.
We've done straw polls before.
Yep.
I mean, we can get a straw poll pulled together and put on
It's
the, we
just a
don't have all the
question.
articles done yet.
How many
right?
articles do we have this year? We'd like to keep these
Not a
things,
lot.
No,
no, so we're down enough so that we could put one on the.
Yeah, but how many does the
Excuse me,
planning
that's
board
without
have?
zoning, I don't know.
Yeah.
We've got
Yeah.
a lot because of the state.
How many do you
Yeah.
have in zoning?
We're trying to combine some. I don't have an answer for you right now. It's not small.
Yeah.
No, I
Yeah,
know,
there were
it's-
like 5 to 10 of them.
Yeah.
Monument was a straw poll.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
something
an
to-
idea, so
yeah.
please, don't,
It's an idea.
Yeah.
don't
And if
like,
the board weren't going to do it,
Don't
then that
bite the-
would give you
don't
enough
bite the
time to
messenger.
do it as a petition.
well, no, I
Right.
I guess I mean,
Right.
like, so I'm coming to you like with suggestions, it's, obviously that's your decision, it's not mine.
I know, but it's
Right.
nice for talking, debate.
Yeah,
I just like to bring out the facts of it
Yeah.
and not beat around the bush.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think
I
we're all in
appreciate the
agreement that we
information.
want
Yeah.
to protect the
Yeah.
Yeah,
lakes. and
no,
they're
yeah,
our
no, no,
biggest-
so don't, yeah.
They're our biggest
Yeah.
asset. I
Yeah.
think it's just a how do we do it?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I almost think that, I hate to bring this up, but the seasons have definitely changed, like this past summer. I mean, that was probably a good year for cyanobacteria because of the heat. Sure.
Oh, definitely.
Lack of
Yes.
rain, stuff like
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah.
So that affects it really big time,
Yep.
but,
Yep.
if we can knock a few of these out or whatever. Yeah, I like the fact that our had that program that was helping people
Yeah.
replace the septic.
Right.
I wish that would come back. 'cause-
Yes.
Right,
Yes.
very good. We'll move on.
Yeah, okay.
Thanks.
Listen, appreciate your time.
Thank you,
Thanks, everyone.
appreciate it,
Thanks,
it's good
Doug.
information.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Try to get my work call.
Do we have a Ed Gotha?
No, Mr. Chairman, he canceled, I put him on there before he got back to me. His schedule didn't fit, so he's a selectman for Brookfield, and he said there's nothing pressing, they're gonna wait till the turn of the year.
Okay.
Did they,
Meaning
did
they
they
didn't
sign
like
that
the
agreement?
Yeah, did they sign? Did they not like the agreement?
They had some
or-
questions, but I don't think
Oh.
we've received it back.
Is there a way that we can find out what the questions are?
Yeah, okay.
I mean, because I looked at it.
It was pretty, I
Pretty-
don't
we
really
didn't-
even
we didn't do
recall
a
any
lot of-
drastic changes.
No, we did the
No, it's just-
Primex thing. There was like.
There was a
just
lot
some-
of things that were referencing because it was the first contract.
Are they holding up
Right.
anything by not signing?
No,
Okay,
they're not.
okay.
They're still gonna write the check.
Unscheduled matters, public comment. Tom, do you want to make your comments now so you don't have to sit around for,
If
Nothing?
it's all right with you?
yeah, please do.
Thank you. So, my apologies, I have just a few comments, and I probably should have put it on the agenda, but I was a day late, and a dollar short. So, I will,
You got 3 minutes per comment.
I will be very quick with all of these. So first, you may be aware that the state has mandated Keno 603 in all New Hampshire communities unless they opt out. So in 2020, Wakefield voted to not have Keno in our town. And I would like the Board of Selectmen to consider adding a ballot question this year, which would be, shall we prohibit the operation of Keno with the town of Wakefield? And that language is the language that was used by a number of cities and municipalities in the November elections, right? So those that have already had their elections, that's the wording that they used.
Can you say that again? What was the?
Shall we prohibit the operation of Keno in the town of Wakefield?
So a no vote is a yes.
Prohibit would
Prohibit.
be,
Shall we
we
prohibit?
should
Would be yes.
prohibit, yes. It would be a yes,
A
would
yes.
be
No, we should.
prohibit, right.
So a no vote would be
Would be-
an,
In favor
operate
of.
In favor of King.
Keeping Keno, right.
I'm
It
just
is-
trying to see through that. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
That was commonly commented on, but that's the language that I looked up, and there were three, after the third one, I stopped looking, because they all used.
They
the
all
same-
use the same.
They all use the same language.
Okay.
So, and I don't have a strong feeling or opinion about it personally. What I do have a issue with is Concord telling us what to do in the town of Wakefield. And so I really see it as a local
But
control issue.
I'm going back to the vote there, the town voted not to put Keno in here, so isn't this one of those scenarios where they'll come back and say, well, doesn't no mean no?
The state has changed the rules.
They're
Yes, the
requiring
one
you
from
don't have it
2020 is different. The-
We already did.
No, she already did.
What's that?
Oh, so we already proved that we don't want it.
Correct. But House Bill 737 that they just passed
Oh,
It's just all
said it
time.
doesn't matter what you voted in the past.
oh, gotcha. Okay.
Keno is allowed in the entire state.
So they're making some pretty good cash off of this
And
one.
if you don't want Keno, if you really feel strong about it, then you need to put it out to the voters again.
So
Okay.
they
That's what the
just, they
state's
wiped
saying.
out our past vote.
Right.
And
Correct.
they've wiped the slate.
Right, and there's examples of some communities that have voted 2 or 3 times to not allow Keno. And they're
That
back. at-
doesn't count either.
Doesn't count either. They're back at square one, just like us. So, like I said, I view it as a local control issue. I think the residents of our town should make that decision and not the people of Concord. So, so anyway, I'd like the Board of Selectmen to consider that. And we,
Well, let me ask you something, if we don't put it on the ballot, Keno's allowed then?
correct,
What's the effective date?
2027.
January?
Yeah, no, we can, the town has two shots at it. So you can either put it on the March 2026 ballot or on the March 2027 ballot.
But if we don't, what's the effective date of House Bill
Probably
737?
Yeah, I don't know
June?
exactly, but I'm
Yeah,
assuming in
it's your- their fiscal
2027.
year.
And there's really, ultimately, there's really no benefit to us having Keno. The money that the state raises from Keno goes in with all the rest of the lottery money and then gets divided and then gets put into the state education fund and split back up. So
Does the restaurant that does it?
they get a piece of the pie, yes.
Yeah,
The
okay.
restaurant, the convenience store, the
Right.
gas station,
Right.
yes.
Yeah, you get people hanging around there playing Keno all day, so they're buying product.
No, they do the scratch tickets, no.
Yeah, so.
All right, next one.
The next one was, in March, the voters approved to accept land and buildings from the Advent Christian Society in East Wakefield. So not the cemetery one, but the
building.
building
The
one.
Graveyard that's next to
Yeah.
the cemetery.
So, what I'd like the Board of Selectmen to consider is setting up a temporary advisory board to explore possible uses for that building and land. Maybe get some, reach out to people that might be community folks, department heads, butters, et cetera, and just kind of get their ideas or thoughts on what to do with that land, and then come back to the Board of Selectmen and say, hey, here's what we heard, here's what people are saying, here's our recommendation, our thoughts, and then provide you with some information on being able to make a decision on what to do with that property, whether it's to implement one of those ideas, sell the property and put it back into the collecting property taxes on it as a regular property, or whatever that idea may be. But try to move it forward so that it doesn't just sit
I think
there.
that's a great idea, Tom,
We
because,
did too. I asked Tom if that's a separate piece of property, just that building.
yes, it is.
So, to me, I don't think we need another building. It'd be a good thing.
No,
to-
but if you get a group of people that can, it's like, the Heritage Commission doesn't want to have anything to do with it,
No,
which I don't understand why. It is an old building, but that's fine.
Takes a lot. It's
They
gonna
got
take a
enough
lot.
buildings. So if you get a group of people that want to resurrect that building for a useful purpose, and we allow them to do it like we do with the Greater Wakefield Resource Center, they're not up under the Heritage Commission either. I think that's a great idea.
I mean, it may bubble up nothing.
I mean,
but
but
each
East
create
Wakefield
a-
people at least deserve a shot to have a.
Yeah.
to have
Or
it.
to ask, that's really it, and, I wouldn't make it big, maybe 4 or 5 people, it'd be great to have a Board of Selectmen person, maybe somebody from the planning board or the budget committee, and then some local community members from down in that Woodman, East Wakefield area, that might want to be a part of
sure
it.
there'd
There
be
may be
plenty-
no
I'm
interest.
sure there'd be
Could
some.
be a
Right,
committee of
yeah.
one,
Somebody
but-
I know that was.
So making an advisory
why don't we just
committee.
tell Tony, make up a flyer or whatever you do to put that out there, and we'll send it out on the website, a couple of things that we can, and just see what we get for people who wanna.
Well, we'd like to know how big you want it
Right.
first, because if we
Right.
get 40 people that all want
I
to
would
be.
just say, let's just make it 5 people.
So we don't need to do anything special to create an advisory committee, I guess. We
No,
don't have to
just say
like,
There's 5 people.
okay.
We need 5 people, and we'll pick the 5 people.
Now, is this the Lions Club driving this, or is this
No.
just you?
No, this has nothing to do with anything.
Okay, no,
This
all
is
right,
just
no.
me.
Well, you guys are a pretty active group there. I wouldn't mind
No.
their involvement. but-
Maybe they need a building. They're getting too big, right? Down for the,
We are getting a little big to fit in the
I
pub,
think
but,
it'd be a good building for the snowmobile club.
The what?
The snowmobile club.
Yeah.
but I really, like I
A
said,
clubhouse.
and
No,
that's
some-
really what it would be. It'd be bubbling it up, talking to department heads. There may be some idea in the back of somebody's head that we never thought of.
Can I suggest 7 people?
I would say
Yeah.
7 too, that's what I
Yeah,
would.
you have 5
Okay,
cents.
maybe
Yeah.
12.
I think
Seven's
seven's
good,
good.
but I think you run out.
Yeah.
But like snowmobile club, you probably want them on and stuff like that, a select person and what have you.
Yeah,
And I definitely like the idea of some people from East Wakefield.
and being at home, that's home to me up there.
Yeah.
I'd love to be involved in that.
Yep.
Because I personally don't care if we got rid of it, or we did something, something like you said, an advisory company had a good idea for it. Like I said, I think the snowmobile club would be a good thing for them to buy, buy this from us, and it'd be a great clubhouse for
Well,
them.
we don't want them running in snowmobiles all over them graves either.
That's true.
The only one that's been in
It's
is
got a fence around
Mr.
it.
Duffy, right? You've been in?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I've been in.
Oh,
It's
I
in
haven't
rough
even
shape.
been
It's got electricity there. It's only one plug, The ceiling needs some definite work. Half the floor was starting to be re-sheathed, but it's gonna need new floor, new ceiling.
Mark and Little Mark used to take pretty
yeah.
good care of it as much as they could. They volunteered.
Yeah,
They'd go
it's,
over there
it's,
all
in-
the
it's
time and
pretty
fix
good
it up,
shape, but as
they-
far as the stone foundation, that's in really good shape.
Mm.
You know, and the roof is still intact, you know, you put another metal roof on there and it'll be in good shape.
Yeah.
So there's some work to be done there, you know, maybe some guy that knows carpentry could help them out.
Maybe.
Yeah.
You know any carpenters?
When do you
I don't
want
want
to
to
start that
retire.
advisory committee? Should we have like a date that or you want to wait until you see how many people you get?
Yeah, let's see how many people we get, and then I can kind of gather
Okay.
everybody from there.
Yeah.
Are you gonna beat that drum a little bit?
Yes.
Okay.
Good.
And then the last thing I had was, back in the October meeting, you met with Judy from WPI, and she talked about, and you guys discussed plans and so on with that. You know, I think there's, and I spoke just briefly with Dino about this. I know there's still some work to be done on all of that. But when the time comes, the thing that really I think needs some clarification is, if the money coming in is considered unanticipated revenue, then it's gonna go into, my understanding is, and this is where we disagree a little bit, it needs to go into the unassigned fund balance. When it goes into the unassigned fund balance, if it is the desire of the Board of Selectmen to use those funds as they were intended by WPI or similar, then you're gonna wanna move that money into an expendable trust fund, which would have to happen by voters. Now, that's if it's considered unanticipated revenue. If it's considered a donation to the town, that's different. If it's considered a donation to the town, then it goes into a trust fund. And the trust, the trust,
Because the auditors consider it.
right, so then it becomes a trustee of the trust thing.
Well, I think we're real close in agreement. It's just a matter of what we can do with it once we get it. And I printed out 31:95B, which basically talks about the public hearing that we're supposed to have, which we did.
Right.
And we mentioned that. This is from Jennifer Dorr from our accounting firm, our auditing firm, and she basically said, I Googled what WPI was and what its intended purposes originally were. I believe that the town can accept the funds under 31:95B, unanticipated revenue, and then restrict those funds to be used for the Opera House. It would require there to be some internal tracking, meaning a budget line. A budget could be created for those funds if they're accepted at a public hearing under this RSA. So, as a tiebreaker, Tom, I've taken the RSA and I've sent it to the attorney after we spoke.
Okay.
Okay, to try to figure that out, because
It gets a little dicey between
gets-
the one that, the 3190, the 95A,
Yeah.
what you guys spoke about, and then there's 31:19, right? And that's a private donation.
Right.
And so the difference is private and public funds. But I think, either way, I think it's, I listened, I watched the meeting, and I know it's the desire of the board to use those funds in the vision of WPI. And whether they, you mentioned a separate account, and this is just my opinion sitting here. And all this board changes, I changed, everybody's gonna change. If you put that money into either an expendable trust or a trust fund with a mission, with a stated mission, you know where the money is, it's being invested, and you know what it can be used for. If you put it in an account, in a budget line, it's gonna get lost. It will. I shouldn't say that.
I
It
can-
has a
Well,
I
possibility
can
of
tell you,
getting
Tom,
lost.
that $90,000, I already got thinking of a couple of things in my head that's gonna wipe that right out.
I
So,
was just gonna ask how much, I must have missed that meeting. I don't
Well,
remember
there was-
this,
Yeah, I
but
think you might
I
have.
think yeah, so there's 90, is that what it is?
90,000, we got those two pillars out there that need work, that's probably worth about half of it.
Yeah.
So-
But that's a good point, is, were the auditors anticipating it was a donation, or was it coming from something else? So I think that's probably where,
right, because again, my interpretation of the the one that you guys voted on, 3190.
3195,
3195, is that's usually more typical of receiving grants and other things that are
Mm-hmm.
unanticipated, not a private, this is
This was
a
private money.
private money
Right.
coming
So
in.
that would be a
So,
donation to me.
but either way, it's, the selectmen can ultimately use it the way the
But
WPI wants it.
we've made it quite clear that,
Mm-hmm.
that money is, we're not going against where it came from.
Yeah.
We're gonna
Yep.
stand by Becker and
Morrison.
Morrison, that they did all this work to receive that's going to go to this building
Mm-hmm. Right.
and the Opera
Yeah.
House.
And I'm not suggesting anything other, I'm just suggesting that the mechanism to hold the funds, what I heard at that meeting, and I'm not an auditor, but I have never heard of a town being able to accept money and set it aside over in a bank account over on the side and hold it year after year after year. I've just never heard of that.
And I don't
It's-
think that was interpreted. We
No,
were
I think
we were
she
gonna
said it
make
was-
a- we were gonna
Well,
put it
we
in
were,
a
we were
fund.
gonna put it in a line to be spent, and because, do you remember much of this conversation? Were
No,
you?
but it seems to me we likened it to the highway block grants,
Right.
which is exactly what we do. We put that in a separate accounting line.
Yes,
and
we
it's
do.
used for its
Right.
intended purpose.
But you have to
Right.
use it in the same year that you receive it.
Not-
Well, if,
Sometimes, but not
Sometimes, yeah.
always.
So it's,
Yeah.
yeah,
We get you.
it's
We get
different
you.
than a
Yeah.
grant, and,
Yeah.
and I just think that by either, so something to resolve in the next couple of months, because if it
Yeah.
needs to be put on the ballot to retrieve it back out of the unanticipated fund balance, then you're gonna want a ballot
Yep.
question to get that money back out.
So I would suggest we get a quote for the 2 pillars,
okay,
and I would suggest we get a quote for renovating the bathroom that Teresa seems to think needs repair.
Actually, I was thinking, what about, have we ever looked into, I don't know how much this costs.
AC
Mini,
and
yeah, mini splits upstairs.
Oh,
in
yeah,
the
that's
the other
house.
thing I was thinking.
Is
We
that
looked.
For heat
yeah,
and AC, but
about 135,000, but
if
that
you have
was,
90,
when Ken wanted me to look for the upstairs, he wanted that heated better, and then he doesn't like our window unit, so. But, I do think the steps and the pillars are probably priority. The other one
Probably.
would be-
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
And I'd
definitely,
say, let's
Yeah.
just wait
So-
until the legality part of this is all done, and then we'll figure
Yeah.
out.
yeah, but we should get some quotes for that anyway, because we
Yeah,
gotta do
absolutely.
that.
Yep,
I
I
thought we
can
already
do,
had them.
I'll do both at the same time, but yeah, I brought it with me, there's a stack of paperwork we gotta get done.
Yeah, okay. All right, so I'm gonna move you. Your
Thank
3
you,
minutes are up.
thank you for listening.
Thank you.
very much.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Tom.
Tom. All right, unfinished business, TAN documents, what we got with that?
We gotta sign them, right?
Yeah, we have quite a bit, and I'm gonna hand Mr. Duffy the whole stack, but there's a few that are just gonna be you, Mr. Edwards. And we've got little Post-it notes on that.
All right, I'll make a motion that we sign the TAN documents and authorize Charlie to sign all the others that are related to him.
Authorize me to sign something I don't even wanna take.
I'll second
That's a
that.
lot.
That's all part of our plan, Jack.
I know, make it all worth it. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
aye. Have the tax bills gone out?
Well, they're in the printers right now.
I'll just start handing these off to you, Teresa. If I miss
Sure.
one, let me know.
Okay. Can I borrow somebody's pen? I thought this one was working. It's not. Thank you.
You have a pen roll?
I am. I don't know what the issue is here.
I got this pen that's lasted me now, I'm on my 3rd year.
Yeah, I know, I still got
It
a
has
bunch
a
of,
Mark Duffy name written all over it.
I
Man,
still got a ton of those too, and I gotta scrape all that other stuff off of it.
this thing works. This has been my good luck charm.
No, they're actually good pens, and
I've had it for 3 years.
You just keep it here and use it for
I
town?
just-
well, it's nice, it's big too, it fits in your hand good too. Gotta get some more of those. All right, this is one for Charlie.
Yeah, that top sheet just goes with the document ahead of it, Mark. Why don't you keep it right at the back of everything you've done, if you would.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that document,
I
yeah.
don't want to lose that.
3 copies, chair only, chair only. That's it, Teresa, we're all done.
All right.
Pass those down to
Send them over
Charlie.
to
And I'll
Charlie.
just mention to the board, it doesn't take the sting away anymore, but surrounding towns in our area are also doing TANs due to the delay with DRA.
Yeah,
With, there was a snafu with their programming with the village districts. And we've got a neighboring town that had to apply and is going through the process there under the gun.
Have you ever heard of a town doing a line of credit?
I know that they can. I've
Can
never-
they?
Yes,
Oh, okay. I was
Yeah.
curious. That was mentioned to me.
yeah.
You're so efficient with them little stickers.
Love stickers.
All right, we'll move on. We got a purchase and order for $7,500. This is for Wakefield Fire and Rescue. Some equipment, it looks like batteries, chargers, cords.
Yeah, my understanding, Mr. Chairman, is the difference in price for the new cot for the ambulance. The whole package is $37,000, but there was a difference of $7,500, and that's what this number is.
I'll take a motion to accept the purchase agreement.
I'll make the motion.
second,
All in favor?
aye.
Okay, I have a capital reserve fund for $253,300. And the current balance is $257,556, leaving remaining balance of $4,256. This is partial payment for the 2024 Ford F-550 ambulance.
Oh, you
I'll
caught,
take a motion.
I'll make that motion.
second, we already got electronic signatures on here, was that?
All in favor?
Aye,
Aye.
Yeah, but we were going to just
We
make
did,
sure
yeah.
that was.
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
wanted to do it in public.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a capital reserve fund expenditure, transfer station trucks for $40,762.88. Is that to pay that off completely?
That's correct. That's the lease vehicle, the roll-off truck for the transfer
So
station.
we're back to we don't owe anything.
We own the vehicle,
We
right?
own the vehicle.
Make that motion,
Second.
All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Great, we're done. Town's back to perfect standings. Okay, with that said, wastewater capital reserve fund of $2,136.25. This is for
A gate?
Wastewater study.
A wastewater.
All in good fun, Tom, all in good fun.
Want us to say it a little louder, in case you didn't hear that? That leaves the remaining balance in this fund, $216,188.07.
This is for the study,
Study.
This is
just
for
to
the study.
clarify.
Yeah. Can I get a motion to carry that $2,136?
So moved,
Second.
All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Okay. Alright, with that, back to my computer. Correspondence?
I have none.
Wow.
Unscheduled comments. I think Tom's used his up. Town administrator update.
Okay. All right, Mr. Duffy, starting out with the Chamber of Commerce, and these are the handouts that I'm sending around, and their first annual holiday stroll. They put this together in a matter of a couple of weeks. I think it's going to be a great event. It's December 5th from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. right here in the downtown area. When you look at the map, you'll see all the different stops. Parks and Rec Department will be lighting the tree for the town on that same night. A candy cane hunt will be going on, hot cocoa from Lino's. Many stores will be open in the downtown area, and Tom Doobie has a brand new trailer that he used to use for the hay rides. We're going to be moving that about town to all those different spots and the locations. People can get on and get off and do some shopping and visiting. The town hall will be open as well. Upstairs, you'll see, you'll be able to get a jump on the Breakfast with Santa, the auction. That'll be open from 4 to 6. And Santa will also be coming that night as well. So, first time we're going to try this. It'll be nice. It'll be a really nice event, I think, weather permitting. I think
I
it'll be
love how
great.
they called the.
That's cute.
I love the
Tom Doobie Express.
Tom Doobie Express thing.
Yeah.
I think that's a good dedication to Tom and well deserved.
Have you seen that trailer yet?
No, I have not.
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
It's
great.
That's
It's an
awesome.
amazing trailer, yeah. Really, really nice. So,
Good for the town to keep
Shake
that
it up
going.
dance center, Tracy.
that was me.
Oh, there you go, Tracy.
Oh, boy.
Not gonna let that one down.
No, I ain't gonna let that one go either.
Is that the DPW?
Right now it
Oh,
is,
that's
yeah.
awesome.
Yep.
Good for Tom.
The next thing I'm going to kind of turn over to Mr. Edwards. Perhaps he could update us on Route 16, the Wakefield intersection. I know that Colin from Stratford Regional Planning was trying to set up a meeting with the Board of Selectmen. So, do you have anything on that, Charlie?
I met with the, I met with the DOT the first time in Farmington, and that went well. I believe that I got their attention enough that on, I believe, a week ago Thursday, or sometime a week or so ago, I was coming back out of Garney Road. Is it Garney Road? Yeah, it's called Garney Road. I was coming out of Garney Road and I stopped and I saw the DOT doing their evaluation. They were there on the side of the road. They were there for quite a while. I sat there for a little while myself to observe, and then I went and had a long conversation with them. My conversation went well. They said that they were observing, they were making recommendations, and they assured me that they were on it, on trying to solve our issue at the intersection of Palmer's Motel and 153. I got a phone call today. Today, I got a phone call today from a fellow named Colin, which is part of the DOT, and the people that I was discussing this with, and they want to set up a meeting with us to go over what they have, what their findings are. Their findings are, and they want to correspond, to bring them into what we had thought we should do. So they kind of want to debate what's right and what's wrong, and what's wrong with ours and what we think is wrong with theirs. So I'm going to set that up for November 10th. December 10th.
Yeah.
December 10th. That'll be, they'll be on the agenda for December 10th to discuss their findings, and then we should move on. But it should make people a little more happy that something's being done. I really think we got their attention, and they're on it. However long that stuff takes, that's the state. So you're gonna wait a little bit. But
I still don't understand why you got these solar signs down with, get a couple
Absolutely.
solar signs.
But
up,
these are
flashing.
the things
Flashing
that
yellow, dangerous
we need to put on them that day.
Yeah.
Because I have all intentions of making sure that this doesn't sit on somebody's desk. Because I was going, as a matter of fact, I had thought, it was yesterday, I had thought that I'd give them a call, because I hadn't heard from them for a couple of weeks. And I know what happens is things get set on the desk and then bigger and bigger things come upon them and we lose track. But I also spoke to Stratford Regional Planning and they also assured me that it is being talked about heavily, enough that we'll get, but something's going to.
Well, it did, 2 days after that meeting, Saturday,
Yeah,
they
that
had a
accident.
fatal
Oh,
accident.
yeah, I sent them pictures of it, and it caught their attention. And, but like I said, they're, as anything involved in the state, things take a little bit of time, and it's gotta go through chains of commands and all that stuff. But it's just nice knowing that we're actually on somebody's desk at the moment.
Well, that's good.
It is good, and a credit to the board and to you, Charlie, and Mark, your email, which was very poignant and to the point, after we got a reply from the state. I think what this has done, it's moved from, they used to just kind of reiterate the same thing over and over. It's a speed factor, it's not a caution factor, so there's nothing we can do about it. Remember
Yeah.
that? And because of what you guys are doing, now that they're shifted into, boy, there really is a problem there, and they're gonna really look into it, so.
I think we're in good shape.
I think so, too.
Something's gonna happen, whether it's what we want or not, I don't know, but whatever does happen, hopefully it at least contributes to saving lives, so, we'll go from there.
Yep, okay, thank you. Our contact with Fidium, possibly the new cable company, is on vacation. I tried to have him at this meeting. I'll reach out to him to see if he's available for the next meeting. I'll be probably trying for the first meeting in December, which is I think the 10th that you mentioned, Charlie. I did have a meeting with the town administrator for Ossipee, who uses Fidium, and he's very, very happy with him. So I want to make sure that Fidium is a good fit for us and can offer everything that we're using. And then I was talking to Brock, because it was Brock's team that kind of helped us set up the phone system. We got to make sure we're not in a contract with the phone system, because wouldn't you like to change phones again? There's a good smile there. So I'll keep you posted on that. One of the things Mr. Daniels and I spoke about today was the turntable park, and he asked for an update, and I realized that kind of has settled. We went into budget season, what have you. So that's actually going to be one of my winter projects. Is I have the original lease. I had sent that out for any modifications. I didn't really get anything back. So I'll probably get the group together, because I think Pam is here for the winter. So I'm going to try to get everybody in person to kind of go over that lease, if there's any changes. The big thing is there might be a carve out of a piece of land around the Parks and Rec building. It was the state that mentioned this at our last meeting, and they said, hey, if Parks and Rec ever wants to do an addition or get a little bit larger building, we would sell you a piece, though you could own that. But they're adamant that they're not going to sell us the whole piece, so we're back to leasing, okay? Something Tony doesn't have, but I did write it on here. I want to update you on the town auction. 3 pieces that we had that sold went way beyond what I thought. Rick Sager, the auctioneer, had told me that these auctions have been going crazy. And our house that we had down in Union, I anticipated anywhere from 50 to 80, sold for 130. A lot out on Prey Hill went for basically a real estate price, went for $85,000.
That's great for the owners.
Wow.
I mean, we just get paid the
difference.
$1,500 that's over for us.
And then there was a sliver of land, I'm forgetting where it was, East Wakefield maybe, went for $11,000. So to that point, Charlie, Rick is looking into the person that owned the Union property. He can't have any assets. So Rick is talking to his attorney, and that might be one of those things where that money can't go to him. So then it might go to a family member, and if there aren't any family members, then it could come back to us. That's a long shot. But any fees and penalties that we have and back taxes, we'll get that back, of course. I don't have that number yet, but I'll get it to you.
Should be around 60,000.
60?
I was trying to work it yesterday, yeah.
Okay.
It's around 60.
So made 230,000 and
Yeah, I get 60.
it's a new law, so.
But they're
And
back on the
then
tax rolls.
the last thing is the tax rate has been set, and as I mentioned to Teresa, the tax bills have been sent to the mailing company. But bills that people are starting to pay on our kiosk already.
What did they set it?
Where did we set it at?
Yeah, what's the rate?
The rate is 871,
And what was it?
752. And it should be noted that,
So it's 871 and it was 52, so it's $1.19.
19? Round down. I don't know, I thought that's what it was that we,
yeah,
Originally
right,
came out
right.
with, right?
$1.06. What happened to that?
No, that was if you had put down 3, I think.
Oh, have we decided on what's being dropped?
Everyone went with your suggestion, there's nothing being placed towards it, so. The
870 what? 870?
871,
Yeah.
and then minus 752. Should be
Which
one.
is something we gotta talk about with warrant articles. We can, that's where we can, whatever amount that we feel that we're comfortable with, we can apply to some of those and not get penalized at the
Right.
end of the year.
Well,
Right.
I think, my point with not doing it is we couldn't put enough in it to justify a law, a decrease. So let's save it for next year.
Yeah.
And then we can put another big lump sum down and we'll show a difference, you know.
Yeah, but the
'cause
thing, the
10
thing
cents
with,
is to me, 3 cents, what was it, 3 cents? That if we put down $400,000, we
No.
don't gonna get 3 cents.
I think it would have gone down to like $1.13 from 119 or
So
something like that.
you're looking at 6 cents. I think if we saved it, we could drop significantly more the next year to really decrease, because I don't think we could.
but that's how we got in a little
I-
bit.
Right, and I would
I,
caution against that too.
Yeah, my personal feeling is that we should get that built to where the middle of our ranges that the auditors say we should be at. We're at 5 to 17%. We should be somewhere in the middle, be
So,
more safe zone.
this would
for
put us at
things that-
6.9.
Right, we're at, right.
So the DRA says the limit's 5, they like to see 7, so we're just about where they like to see.
Okay.
But I think, and next year I would probably caution you the same way, Charlie, that this is how we got into the situation where we had created an artificial economy where we really needed that money, and we were trying to do the right thing, obviously, right? But it was artificial, it wasn't real, so
But
that's.
when you say we need that money, it's
It-
money we can't spend other than dropping the tax rate.
No, I meant the revenue. I meant the revenue. So if it costs $5 million to run the town, but we've given back $500,000 to kill down the tax rate, we're only now running the town on $4.5 million, where we really needed the 5, for example.
And
That's-
if we
that's-
have an emergency, you had
That's
some
why I'm
major
saying,
thing
I
that
didn't
happened.
wanna spend it this year.
Well,
Right.
I
the
figured for what it would
emergency
save
is
us,
very hard.
there's no
Oh, it's
spend-
hard to
putting
do.
ourselves
I
in
mean,
that
but there
hole.
has been, years and years ago, when the resource center needed a boiler, we had to heat that building. We went through the budget committee process, we went through the selectmen, we went through all the processes, the state, and we were able to use some of the
Right.
unassigned
Well,
fund balance for that, so.
we got a real tough board now that, in the, undesignated trust fund that we'd like, it's pretty tough to get through to them people.
Well, the other thing you gotta consider though, Charlie, when you put it towards warrant articles, that reduces the burden of the taxpayers.
Correct.
So
But I'm
that's
saying
where
this
it
year,
can be
we
used.
can't put any, because it will drop us down way, we wouldn't have
We
it.
got a little.
No,
bit-
you can, it should be understood though, if you put money towards warrant articles this year, you really don't see that until next year, a year from
Right.
now. So it'll show up as revenue a year from now, because the budget's already set, the tax rate's set, that's kind of done. But I will point out, and again, we're not attacking you, Tom, we're really not, maybe you should have left earlier. But you had asked at a budget meeting, and it was a pointed question that made sense. What assurances do we have that we wouldn't have to enter into this TAN situation again, right? And this is a big indicator, in my opinion, that we're not spending money that we should have coming in. So hopefully this will be a big change. So,
Okay, good enough.
okay. The last thing, yes, is dates.
Yes.
Yeah, dates. Dates for December.
Dates
For a
for
board meeting.
Right.
the 10th.
The
Well, we
10th,
got one
10th.
I think we definitely decided on that.
And the 17th.
You want to do the
You want to keep the
17th?
17th also?
Okay.
Back to back? Back
Yeah.
to back meetings?
Knock it out, yeah. I think we need 2 meetings too, because we still
Okay.
really discuss warrant articles.
Yeah, can you tell us a little bit about warrant articles and due dates and such?
All your warrant articles are drafted, all the tax impacts are calculated. I need you to do revenues so that I can do the tax impact of
Okay.
the operating budget. You probably should be reviewing them in December so that the drafts can go to the budget committee before their January 13th meeting and hearing. That is the last day anything can be changed on the warrant other than that deliberative session.
Right.
And
Okay,
it would have to be changed before their public hearing.
okay. Which would be, they're having their meeting and then the
They're
public.
meeting
hearing
first
after
to
that.
review, it's gonna be a
Okay.
long night because they're gonna review our warrant articles, the school's warrant articles, and then they're gonna have a public hearing for both.
Yeah, and they
So
still
it's
haven't
gonna
got the final
It's gonna
numbers
be a
on the
lot.
school either,
Okay,
because they haven't, I don't think, they haven't plugged in their insurance numbers yet, have they?
But Jerry felt they could do that at a meeting before the public hearing.
Oh,
on the
yeah,
13th.
no, yeah,
Yeah.
but
So-
they'll probably be discussing that also.
by the 17th, the board will have to have decided if we're gonna do a Keno thing, if you're gonna do a Doug Stewart thing. I mean, that's kind of stuff that you'll have to talk about.
Is the 17th enough time to give it to the budget committee
Oh, sure,
to review it?
absolutely.
All right,
We
The
we
holiday.
usually do
Which I-
shoot them out, we do shoot them out to legal first, but
Yeah.
that doesn't take but a few days.
But it does mean that you have to vote on, I need
Yeah,
your
you
votes
need,
on
so
it.
on the 10th, we really should start discussing, figuring out, and then if we need to then take a vote or need more discussion.
yeah,
we
if you,
have
if
the
you
could
get, if
17th.
you
probably
got
have
the
it done.
drafts ready for the 10th, that'd
For
be
the
great,
10th,
that we
that
could.
would be,
Draft is already, one more figure is all I need.
because then when you get into
I told you
January,
I wouldn't bug you about it this week.
No, you bug me anytime, I just realized you're not here on the 17th. Okay?
I bet you'll all be fine.
Yes, we will, we will.
So
Because
if you,
technically,
if
we
you got
don't
the
need to get
drafts, you
anything.
can email them to me so I can at least look at them
Yep.
ahead of time. Get
Yeah.
Email you the draft right
sure.
now?
well,
Yeah,
Okay.
whenever
yeah, if you have them, you know.
And it also should be noted, the deliberative session is the 31st of January.
Yes.
this year.
Saw that.
We had Tony was crunching the numbers, and we could have gone first Saturday in February, but it would have been too crunchy.
Well, that would have been our last
time.
opportunity. It meant that if you had a blizzard, you still have to have deliberative session.
Right, no matter what.
And we've been
So,
through that.
yeah, we've been through that. So,
Okay,
So the
Okay.
capital, I just have a question on, so the capital reserve articles as far as like what the department heads want, that's the ones that are drafted
Yes.
right now, so we already know those, we haven't, we
Yes.
just don't vote on them.
You haven't had a vote on them. They have
Really?
submitted them to
They've
us.
submitted and
We
It would
told
be our
them
chance
together.
to either put
Okay.
undesignated funds
Right.
towards them or increase or decrease the numbers.
and what we usually do, Teresa, you might recall, but we're gonna go through them one by one, and then the board will decide, let's throw this much at it, let's not throw any at it, etc.
And that's what we'll do at the 10th or the 17th.
Correct, but I'm also gonna try to get you, so at least you have to review
Mm-hmm.
whatever the planning board has, their 7 or 8 articles, because you wanna be.
they're
No,
not
we
money
don't
articles.
vote on
They're
those.
just.
No,
they're
I know we don't have
state-driven.
any decision
okay.
on them, I just
Okay.
want you guys to be aware of them.
Yeah, they're just state-driven articles that
Right.
have already been passed. We just gotta put them on our ordinance.
Okay,
Can we throw a draft in there of Tom's
I
request?
think we should, and that way
I think
it's
we should
there.
have that draft in there.
That doesn't mean you have
Yeah.
to.
Right, move forward, it's just I don't wanna forget about it.
It's
I don't wanna
there so
forget.
that you
Yeah.
know that that's a possibility.
Right.
I'm gonna
I
add them
don't,
in.
I don't know if we have time to do Doug's, well, I mean, the straw poll, I suppose, but if we can.
We'll
we
worry
have to
about
think
that on
about,
the
have to
10th.
think about that.
Yeah, we'll think about that.
Okay.
All right, is that?
Yeah, I'm
your-
done, thank
your
you.
thing? Building permit releases, we have one, tax map 109, lot 14, Daniels Drive. Can I get a motion to accept that?
So move.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Everybody's seen the,
You had
Yeah.
another.
tax collector's
You have another-
report? Oh, we have two of them?
yes.
Yep.
I only got one, so what's the other one?
It is, I'll
Map
tell you in a
80.
minute. It's, tax map 81, lot 21 on Thorn Hill Road, Sleepy Hollow Road. I'll make that motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye. Okay.
All right, we've reviewed the tax collector's report. I got payment manifest. I have $384,761.91. Can I get a motion to pay that one?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You need to sign that, Teresa. I have one here, treasurer's payroll warrant for $126,533.75. Can I get a motion to carry that one?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Minutes.
You have those to sign too.
All right, board minutes for November 4th. I was not there, so I guess I can vote anyway. They look accurate to me, as they always are. Can I get a motion to accept the minutes for November 4th?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We got the November 4th non-public, draft 1. Draft 2 only. Can I get a motion to carry those?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. That looks like us. Did you have anything you wanted to add, Mr. Duffy?
Just an update on the town clock. Found a motor for the ringer online. It's like a $600 motor. So we might need an electrician to come in and hook it up after I get it off. And make sure it's, it's correct. The numbers look all good. I had McGrath look at, and he was in agreement that, yeah, as long as it's the same phase and all that, which all the numbers are on the plate, so
What are we
it all
gonna do when you're
matches
not
up.
around for that? Huh?
So
It's
we
gonna be
will,
around forever for that.
I will get that on order, and,
Do we have the money for that,
yeah,
Mr. Scarrow?
yeah, I'll just get it on order, when you get, submit a receipt.
Sure.
I might even donate it, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Big hitter like you,
Gotta give
Okay.
back, gotta give back every now and then.
That concludes our meeting. Did you have anything you want to add,
I do not.
Mrs. Williams? I already said what I was gonna say with the DOT, so we're good to go. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make that motion.
So move.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.